All right. Alrighty, I'm hot back from vacation. But I always love doing a show, and it's good. It helps me kind of unwind from my day. And I am joined by Sean Brandow, the chaplain for the Humboldt Broncos, the SJHL. So this is awesome, Sean, that you've come on here. And during the summer, I know summer can be a bit of a busy time and whatever else, just with vacations and that sort of thing. But again, thanks for making the time.
All my pleasure, Smitty, for sure.
Right on. So yeah, I guess we kind of indirectly were in the same building years ago at a DC Talk concert back in Caronport, Saskatchewan, and people that know me know that Caronport is close to my heart. And I remember I made that post, and you made a comment, and yeah, we were in the Hildebrand Chapel on
Yeah,
when we were like 14 years old, and
yeah.
it's quite something. So, what do you remember exactly from that concert?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. It was loud. That's about all I remember. It was loud, and there's lots of people. And I come up
Right.
from a small town, so lots of people was probably the thing that stands out the most. So
Right.
yeah.
And I got to ask you, like the morning of that concert, they actually kicked off Youthquake and they announced that Petra was coming to Youthquake in 1994. Were you there in the morning for the kickoff?
Oh boy, I don't actually think I went to all of Youth. I don't think I went to all of Youthquake. I think we just came for the concerts, if I'm not mistaken. You're asking me to go back a few years here, man. I don't remember. I don't
I
actually think
kind
I
of
was at
am, and
Youthquake.
yeah, it's all. I know
Yeah,
you start doing the math, right? It's like 30 years
yeah.
and what have you. Um, So, but I thought I would kind of start from there. So, but anyhow, so that's how it goes. But yeah, I guess it is a bit of a small world and that sort of thing.
Oh,
But
for sure.
I guess we can kind of start with how did you kind of become the chaplain of the Broncos? How did that process and how long have you been doing that and that sort of thing?
Well, it's been 15 years now. I inherited it actually, probably more than anything. Our church has been involved in the chapel program or the chaplaincy with the Broncos. Oh boy, he'd be 25 years at least now.
Hmm.
So of my 15 and at least another 10 before that, I would think.
Right.
So the previous two pastors had done the chaplaincy work for them before, and then when I came in, the pastor I was taking over for in the church, Ed Fisher is his name.
Hmm.
He just asked if I wanted to be a part of it, and to be really honest with you, I just it was really uncomfortable and awkward. I didn't grow up in hockey. I mean, I loved hockey. I played just pond hockey and stuff, but I hadn't been in the hockey world that much, and so it was kind of a foreign land to me a little bit. And so worked with Ed. Ed stayed in the church actually for just about a half a year, maybe almost three quarters of a year.
Hmm.
Um, and so I served alongside of him, and so that was good. It sort of ushered me in there for the first little bit, but in watching Ed just a different personality, different giftings, different outlook on life and hockey and the ministry, and as chaplaincy and stuff. And so when Ed left, I floundered, sort of fumbled along for another about a year and a half trying to do what Ed did, and it was awkward and uncomfortable. It was hard. Just it felt like really hard to make inroads and get to know the guys and stuff. And so after about a year and a half, I had told the elders, I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. I'd like them to pray about it and we'll seek the Lord a little bit and see if this is what we're supposed to do. And they came back and said, I think we should continue on with it. And then talking to Ed about that, Ed just came back and said, Sean, you just make it your own. Like it's got to be your own thing, and not it's not you don't have to do it like me. And and then so from there, it just changed directions, changed course. My heart, I don't know, the Lord really opened my heart to the ministry, and from inheriting it to being really uncomfortable, not loving it that much. It's still hard. It's still hard work, and it's not always easy, but I definitely, my heart is more inclined that way, and I feel a lot more passionate about it now. And it is, you do have to serve in your own giftings in your own way,
Right.
and so on. So yeah,
So yeah, I mean, yeah, those inroads are difficult because we billeted for the hockey team here. They come in, they're some of them are their first time, they're shy, and some of them it's been their fifth home, and
yeah,
their third team, and some of them are more open, more closed. I've had conversations with guys till 1 o'clock in the morning and that sort of thing. But so, what is a normal like week in the life of a chaplain for the Broncos look like?
there's probably not much normal. It's the So we our regular chapel program goes every other week. We try to do every other week. My wife actually cooks a meal for the guys, and they come to the church, and so we have a pretty darn good meal, and then we have a little Bible study uh, time that we're going to dig into the Bible a little bit together, and it's fairly interactive and stuff. And then we have there's always some competition after, and so we do that every other week. And then I try to get to the rink, meet with the coaches, and touch base with the guys in the off weeks and stuff as regular as I can,
Yeah.
and stuff. Last few years have been a little bit more nuts with the church, so it's probably cut back a little bit on how much we've been involved with the team. But we also have some great lay people in the church that are pretty involved. They're billeting, and they're pretty involved with the guys, having guys over for meals and stuff too. And so it's not just me serving there. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah, it does definitely take everybody, right? What do they say? It takes a
Yeah,
community to raise a child, and obviously these
yeah.
kids are not children, but it does take because um, from what I gathered, and I kind of knew this before because we had a player in our home in Anthony Kapelke,
Oh yeah, yeah.
talking about Humboldt and what it meant, and again that hockey culture, and me living in Saskatchewan for 4 years, so I get it. And then again, when the crash happened, it was just so magnified,
Mm,
obviously. Um,
mm,
do you kind of want to take us back to um, obviously share as much detail as you're comfortable with, but just leading up to that memorial and um, what's kind of going through your head there, and again, a lot of emotions.
mm. Probably to back up even more, that whole year was a bit of a unique year. I'll be honest. It was that year in particular. Our family and our church just felt, interestingly enough, just the an incredibly heavy burden to pray for them. And
Hmm.
so those guys got prayed for almost every Sunday. Like we had individual people in the church, you know, picking guys to pray for them. It was actually ad nauseum for some people. Like there was people in our church that asked, like, why do we pray for these guys every single Sunday?
Yeah.
And I mean, that question was answered later. Even in our home, each of our boys picked a player to pray for, and we prayed through each one of them by number throughout that year. Like, and so it was just it. There was a heaviness there right from the beginning, and that year, a couple of the guys also had friends that had passed away in tragic accidents and stuff. So we worked through a lot of grief with those guys, even early in the year, and it was just a profound year. We connected extremely well with that whole team throughout the year. Just the depth of conversation and relationships ahead of time, and stuff leading up to that accident was pretty, I think, pretty foundational. So as much as that evening was bathed in prayer, I know it sounds crazy, but I think, um, yeah, I mean, the Lord doesn't make any mistakes. I know that's hard to say when you think of coming up on an accident like that, but even the opportunities that the guys had, we felt um, an incredible burden to share the gospel plainly, repeatedly. And we had some former players come in that had got saved and came and shared testimonies, and we had, some just, yeah. So leading up to the accident was also, it's a side story in itself.
Right.
But the day of the accident, I mean, we were our family was pretty close with the Hogan family, and so I mean, we love going to watch the guys, but a lot of time was spent just supporting the Hogans and Darcy, and so we had tried to get to as many games, even road games and stuff that we could, and so we were actually on our way to Nipawin the same time, or just after the bus would have gone, I guess. But we came on the accident not too long after, so we weren't actually that far behind. Me and my family. So coming up to the accident, it was just, I don't know. It's kind of, it all goes into a blur a little bit. It's just kind of overwhelming to think about. But we spent that night, me and the assistant coach Chris Beaudry, we spent that night at the hospital, and my wife was at the church with the other families, and so we had made that connection with there, and we're a part of things from that end. Other members of our church actually went to Tisdale and were meeting with families there, and they were billeting, so they were worried about their own player. And
Mm.
anyway, just a lot of the chaos in the Friday, Saturday, and so we got to a hotel. I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning on the Friday night after the accident, hotel in Nipawin, and we just needed to sleep, and so. Uh, I laid down, and my phone, of course, was going crazy with what's going on and so on. And that's when I got, as I alluded to in the vigil, I got two or three messages from really good friends and mentors, just with a couple uh, really pivotal words from the Lord. That just little passage of scripture, and that's it. Just, we love you, we're praying for you, and here's a passage of scripture. This is what and boy, a guy's heart really needs to hear, not just from friends, but right from God at times. And those things became uh, pretty powerful in my own processing of the whole situation. And that's sort of what came out at the vigil as well. So it's not like I sat down and wrote a message on my own, and it's just, I don't know, the heart just spoke from, I guess, where my heart was at and what the Lord had been showing me and teaching me a little bit, and so on. But with the ministerial, did a great job putting that service together. But I wasn't, hadn't been a part of the ministerial for 2 or 3 years at least, but was still on their email chain actually. So that night there, I could see their email chain just going, trying to plan this vigil for Sunday, and they were wondering who would speak, who would speak, who would speak. And finally, one of them just said, "Well, ask Sean. I think he's the chaplain." And so I just said, "Yeah, I'd be honored
Mm.
to speak." And so that's sort of how that transpired. But the boy, I tell you, about an hour before that vigil started, I to walk into that arena. It was pretty empty when I got there. I know it would have been more than an hour, be 2 hours before probably. And just to walk to the front of the stage and see all their pictures and so on, and just to realize the magnitude of what had happened. I think that's when some of the reality of it really hit me. Probably was right before the vigil, just standing there. It's almost like we had them lined up across the stage, their pictures,
Yeah.
and it almost felt like they're sort of standing on the bench, if that makes sense. And so, um, yeah, I think the weight of it hit me there, and that was tough. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, before, all the emotions leading up to that, but that probably was one of the heavier times for me. Was just to stand there in that almost empty arena,
Yeah.
and and then to just process what had happened. And there's so many unknowns even still at that point, but I knew pretty confident that Darcy was gone, and that was a hard thing to just stand in front of his picture and to know the weight of that for his family, for
Mhm.
and all that too. So yeah.
Well, I
Oh.
remember. Oh, I heard you speaking at I met you at the Youth for Christ banquet in Winnipeg,
Hmm.
and you spoke there about. And I used to kind of hide away from these things, but I'll just say, right? And you said there that you and Darcy had a plan, and it was just to give these guys Jesus. And this all makes sense now with the heaviness that you felt. And
Hmm.
that's like no mistake at all. Like
Yeah.
that is a calling. That is a obviously that burden is there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to say I have that every day. I actually wish we could do, I wish that was duplicated in my heart constantly, where that weight of, and it really should be. I mean, we live in a fallen and perishing world,
Yeah.
and the world needs Jesus just like those guys did. And all of our lives are so, uh, it's so inevitable, our end. Um, and to die apart from Christ, there's an urgency there. And I wish I could live within that urgency all the time. And maybe that's something I should be praying more for, you know. But I was really thankful for that. You get through a vigil and I can't imagine what it'd been like to go through that whole thing and to have regrets, thinking I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done that, I wish I would have taken this opportunity, and I didn't. I haven't had to bear that. I just felt like we did our best to be faithful in that year and during the vigil and with the families as best we could, and so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just remember after, like, yeah, you just put it straight out there, and you know what? Obviously, God was with you in that time, and I brought it up with Ryan in the visual about the scars,
Mm,
and I think about that, like, you know, and you're talking about the scars of Jesus,
mm,
and and what that represents, right? And just that healing process,
yeah.
and yeah, it's very it was such an emotional time, and then you get um everybody, you go to all these speaking engagements after, so you're I from what I know, you were in Winnipeg, you were in Brandon.
Yeah.
How did that all kind of transpire?
Well, like anything, you become a little bit of a, I don't know, a show pony, I guess, and everyone wants a representative. It's kind of like I think there was some things that I was really happy to be a part of. Other things felt awkward, like to go to a fundraiser and have someone talk about a tragedy doesn't seem strange to me. There's some of those things, but in some ways, I'm actually really thankful for COVID. COVID put an end to a lot of the travel and stuff. And some of the guys have done a great job. I mean, like some of those players now, they're doing a great job speaking to different audiences and kids, and they have some great platforms. I am just so thankful that the Lord closed that door for me. I feel very honored to have spoken and to be given the opportunities where I have, but I'm I am by and large a small town pastor. I don't do well at big functions. I don't. I can't eat. I don't know which piece of cutlery does what, and we were ended up at a lot of banquets and did the wrong thing in the wrong place all the time. And it doesn't mean that the Lord can't use you there, but I just found, um, one positive, it gave an opportunity for the gospel to go out many different places.
Yeah, I did.
Another positive for me, I think, was that, um, yeah, I really, uh, yeah, well, I grew a ton through the whole situation. I think it really revealed um, my heart for the gospel again, and but it also showed me, I think, a little bit that um, I'm not a conference, a public speaker in that way. Like uh, just to go around and speak. My heart is to stand in front of my church and to pastor our people,
Right.
and so I think it was in that way it was very positive. But what was really cool is just to see how many, to see the believers across the country and just how so many people are serving with so many gifts, like whether it be to go to the prime minister's prayer breakfast or the national prayer breakfast, and to just see MPs praying together and worshiping together and praying for our country. And and you sort of lose heart sometimes with our government. you know but it's kind of like the prophets. Elijah bemoans and he's just like, I'm the only one left. and then God says, no, 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 be quiet, Elijah.
Right.
I've reserved for me, there's a thousand prophets that haven't bent the knee yet. You're not the only one. And it was so good to meet so many faithful people across this country just trying to serve the Lord and bring the gospel out. So that was really encouraging. So,
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you about mentors, role models, and you mentioned that some of them had texted you there on that Friday night. Do you want to kind of elaborate on that?
it's probably a great mixture and a good testimony about the kingdom of God, and how about the church. And I think we need both brothers and fathers and sons.
Yeah.
And it was almost one message from each. One is a brother sort of walked shoulder to shoulder with a guy named Matt Martins. One was a brother uh, who I had been mentoring, but he just reached out and just sent a super encouraging message from what the Lord was speaking to him. And another man was just a faithful had been a faithful mentor to me for years. And so it was just really cool to sort of see how we need that, and we all need each other. It doesn't You don't reach some point where
Yeah.
that we don't need each other. And I think even, did Jesus need the disciples? Uh, that's a strange question to ask, but there was times when you can hear in Jesus's words, like, are you going to leave too? Come with me and pray with me.
Right.
And there was this desire for him to do that with communion with others. And and boy, during a time of tragedy, we really need that. No matter where you're at, it doesn't matter if you're the pastor. I remember the Sunday morning church after the accident. I just went and I told my church, like, I got nothing. I have nothing for you. Like, I need to hear from you guys too.
Yeah.
And that's where one of our men stood up and spoke those words for me, and just to open the word and to speak and to need each other was so good. So yeah, it wasn't just mentors. It was, we need those brothers we're shoulder to shoulder with too. And some guys are miles away, but
Yeah.
we need them. So
But
yeah,
through Zoom, they're through Zoom and other things, they're a click away, and
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I get like yeah, sometimes yeah, we think we can stand, and I remember after church was over and Matthew Gmersick liked my post, so when
Mm,
I said so thankful Steinbach Piston, former Steinbach Piston's okay.
yeah,
My wife and I took two separate cars to church because I think volunteering, and then I just went to after
yeah.
service prayer, and she was gonna wait, and she knew I needed it,
Mm,
and then she landed up praying for other things, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
mm,
It's all these years later, and I think that's okay when we say, "Hey, we have nothing," but
yeah. Mm.
clearly know that God filled your tank that night.
Yeah, the Spirit of God definitely was present, and I felt that. But the Spirit of God often uses the people of God, and He definitely uses the Word of God to do His work. And so I think I sensed that in all three of those. The Spirit's presence, but it was also in His people and also in His book. And so it was just a really amazing experience that way to sustain that helped to sustain. And so you think about that, for the persecuted church or for your pastor or for things like that. That's an important thing for us to realize, that I think as lay people, we play a pretty important role for encouraging your pastors and other lay leaders, your elders and Sunday school teachers. They give, but they need you too. And so the people of God are so important, and as the body, to use their gifts. That's how the Spirit works. So we definitely need each other.
That's yeah, that's totally it. And I've read Caleb's book, and he mentions you a few times in there, and just the role that he played in your life and in the guys. So yeah, you had great influence, right? And there's no work that is in vain. We may not see it now, but
No.
maybe in years later, who knows, right? So
Mm, yeah.
So that is huge. That is so good. Um, I was going to ask you about. I noticed again. I'll go back to the Facebook posting. Uh, I saw that you made a post under Murray Sidebottom's post about his father who passed away, and Ed Sidebottom. Did you have
Mm.
any relationship with him, or I know he was involved in the hockey world. Any relationship there?
We lived right across the street from Ed and Wendy in Caronport. My parents were my dad was the provincial director for Canadian Sunday School Mission for all the camps
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we actually lived right across the street from Ed and Wendy when they lived in Caronport. And so me and Murray grew up together. We got pictures of both me and Murray in our underwear standing on top of the hill when my parents were building the house and stuff like that. So we grew up, we camped together a little bit as families and stuff growing up. And yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, really hard to hear about Ed and watch poor Ed suffer with MS for so long. It's just been hard.
Yeah, I remember when he refed games at the Sparrow Gardens when I
Oh
played
yeah,
hockey, and then to see him in that picture, it's night and day. Uh, and so yeah, that was a bit hard. See Lloyd Friesen, yeah, he hasn't aged in 30 years.
yeah. No kidding, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him
So did you
last
live in
year.
Caronport for a while,
Yeah, 92 to
or just
96.
okay? Okay,
So that's where my dad went to school, and then I went to
okay.
elementary and up till grade 10. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I never thought I'd ever miss another youthquake, and then when POD came, that's when it ended. But I haven't been back since.
You never watched POD? Did you go to POD?
Well,
Because I
when
went
it
to
came to
that
the
one too.
Winnipeg Arena, but I didn't go to that
Oh,
one.
okay.
And yeah,
Okay.
and DC Talk has only been to Cairnport once, and they'll never be allowed back because rumor has it they brought dancers that night, and they were never allowed to come back.
Oh, really?
That is the rumor.
Oh,
If you're listening to this, Shay Nicholson may know this.
yeah, yeah.
So it smells, but we know a lot of the common same people. So this is
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty amazing how I mean the over the last few years, it's been amazing how small the world is a little bit. But
Yeah.
I was actually I think we were in Florida the one time, and maybe it wasn't Florida. I think it was Florida anyway. This guy, we got talking, and he just says, "Oh, you're from Canada. I know this guy in Toronto." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've heard that before." And then, so he told me his name. I'm like, "Oh shoot, I do know him." So he was a pastor in Toronto, and yeah, just to carry the stereotype forward a little bit. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
even had this on this trip, like Eric Adam
oh
involved
yeah,
me. I haven't talked to Eric Adam in like 3 years. So
oh yeah.
you were at the Twins game today. Yeah, I was. My daughter's boyfriend was at the game. And then the
Hmm.
lady we get the cookies from at the Bomber game. We call it the cookie lady. She'll be at the Liberty Lounge. Hey, Lucille, if you're watching.
The
Yeah,
cookie ladies, the Harrises. It was the Harrises for a long time.
yeah. So this was so she goes, yeah, my brother's actually at the baseball game. And then
Yeah,
what else? Oh yeah, and then Graham Bourne says, yeah, my kids were at Valley Fair today. I'm like, okay. Well, I don't know what kids look like, but
all
so
you Manitobans, you're probably all related anyway. So it's
yeah, we're pretty close. But what did you say about what did you say about the Harrises? I apologize.
well, I didn't know they continued the cookie thing there with the team with the Bombers. Like I know the Harrises were involved for a long time. They did the cookies and stuff like that. And
Oh, you
I don't
knew
know if you
the
knew the Harrises at all.
Yeah, well, you know what? The funny story with the Harrises, this is hilarious. So I go to the airport in 2001 when the Bombers coming back from losing, and then they invite me to their house for supper. I'm like, well, you counseled the Gimli Bible Camp. Okay, we're good to go. So I
Yeah,
go and I got to meet their two kids, and then I remember them being at Bomber practice years later, giving out cookies. So
yeah.
I haven't seen hide or hair of them, but that is funny.
They're living up by us now. Yeah.
Oh, they live
So
out by you guys.
yeah, so Shannon and I actually went to Bible school together,
Oh, really?
and yeah, so, yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
It is because my I have the front of the Free Press, and it's me and the Harrises. We're right there. I'm this
Yeah,
21-year-old kid, so I've never seen them at a game and everything. So that's funny.
yeah. So you
That's
worked at Gimli Bible Camp or what?
yeah, in 2001 I did. So,
Oh, one.
yeah.
You work with Marsha?
Uh
Marsha Cairns?
Possibly. That's your wife, right?
Yeah, boy. Oh, maybe she would have been
Oh,
after that. Might have been '02 or '03.
okay.
She was there.
I worked with a guy named Curtis. He was from Swift Current. But
Yeah, yeah.
okay, this is becoming crazy that you know the cookies was nuts.
Uh, Curtis Peters, likely. Or no, Curtis. Anyway, who cares?
Yes, I think you're right with
Yeah.
Curtis Peters. But yeah, that'll be almost 25 years ago. Any
Uh,
wow, getting sidetracked here pretty
yeah,
quick.
no kidding.
But yeah, so I've done the role models, relationships. Hockey season is, I was actually talking to somebody in the store today with my son. I was like, you know what? The hockey season is going to be quick and coming. And again, SJ is about to, well, it'll be a few weeks away yet, but how do you kind of
Yeah.
prepare like for every year? Is it obviously it's not a one size fits all.
No, it's actually hard to prepare. We've changed coaches. I think we're on coach number 6 since I started here. So you think about that. Maybe it's not 6, 5, I think, at least. I'd have to count. But it's hard to prepare because it's not just the coaches, but every year is so different. Whether you have a high number of high schoolers or if you have an older team, are they going to work? Do they have so everything looks different? You just organize your time different,
Right.
um, all those different things, and
Hmm.
each guy and each team interacts with each other differently. So um, it's hard to prepare until you sort of get underway. We usually do our big kickoff, and we start praying as a church here and different things like that leading up to the season. And
Yeah.
but we do a big kickoff, skeet shooting, and a bunch of different things, and so it's a pretty good time just with the guys just to get to know them. And so we'll start getting some of the opening stuff ready, and I'll go help with camp a little bit and that too. But
Right.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I think yeah, that's definitely the way to do it, right? It's it as you say, it is hard to prepare because no season is the same, and um, I just know with us billeting, that's the closest thing I have. It's like we moved into this new house, and then we were like, hey, we have two actual rooms. We didn't have to make one room. You can ask Anthony Kapelke about that, where we made the storage room into a room. We did in the old house. We just wanted to have two guys. We thought it'd be better. And
yeah,
I love it when the relationships are open and that sort of thing, and you have that relationship. But what we're talking about here, and when I talk to people like yourself or, the Brad Lukowiczes or whatever, it's about community and relationship. Even in the year 2025, we still need relationship and community.
oh yeah, yeah,
And that visual and how tragic that was, it's still, it brought people together in a very unique way. Um, it, there are moments in my life,
yeah.
non-hockey related, whether it's the passing of the Hildebrands from Cairnport, where I'm like, yeah, the community came together, they rallied behind the three boys,
Hmm.
and we saw, the people that were in that room. The Don Cherries, the Ron McLeans, the the Trudeau, etc. I mean, that's quite the platform to be a part of,
Hmm.
and just again, I haven't watched it in a while. I know it's on YouTube and what have you, but yeah, what a moment in time, uh, and it's just yeah, I and then the other thing I was going to ask about, so you had the guys the first game back, TSN's there, all the cameras are there, Bob McKenzie's in the building, and then they unveil the numbers, and there's other players that are from that bus and that sort of thing. So how was that night like?
I actually think sounds kind of silly and cliche, but I actually think the first game of every season is a little bit, it's a little tough. Like not even just since the accident compounded that quite a bit, but
Mhm.
beginning of every season, you look at those guys and you know you graduated 8 or 9 likely, and then you also might have 4 or 5 that aren't coming back, and so half your team often is that guys that you won't see now,
Right.
and so part of the chaplaincy that's I found really hard has been just how quickly guys are in and out, and so I guess you got a couple options. You can get kind of jaded to this. Wow, there's no point getting to know them and start feeling like they're just, this kid's going to be gone anyway. Or you can just keep trying to build relationships. Because for a few years, it just felt like anytime you try to build a relationship with someone, they get traded or they, get hurt or whatever. They age out that year. And so yeah, it's different things like that can get a little hard on the,
Right.
when you just start to get to know a kid and you bit of a relationship with them and then all of a sudden they're gone. But I mean, the weight of that, of course, was compounded that first game back, where you just know there's for some of the guys, their journey was going to be tough from that point on, and for other guys, it just they're gone, and that was hard to think of the permanence of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. I I think yeah, that's a good way to put it because it was just yeah, a different way to unfortunately get there, but as you say, there's the in and the out um and that sort of thing. So yeah, junior hockey, you're like, how do you, uh, once the season's done, yeah, as you say, is there going to be a team? And then obviously recruitments and that sort of thing. And um,
yeah.
what do you think the um, Humboldt, the Broncos mean to the town of Humboldt? It just seems a bit more special than some other communities, and not picking on one or the other, but it just seems, proud day to be a Bronco. There was the influence of Darcy Hogan there, just those
Yeah.
influence on that he had on those guys.
I think I actually think some of the culture existed beforehand, before the accident. I think uh, there's a sense of pride in Humboldt. I think it's a real community team.
Mhm.
The community really got behind it before. They had long-standing coaches for a long time. Like a guy like Dean Brockman had a really successful career there, and was there for a long time. And you hear guys talk about Dean and the way that they were just developed as men and stuff. And it became a lot of the alumni just speak very proudly of Humboldt, and I think the club has done a good job of trying to preserve that and trying to keep that going. And so that creates not just for the community pride, but it creates pride in the organization for alumni and for players and for staff that there's something that's a collective whole, whether it be billets or volunteers or even sponsors and all these different things. Then the whole thing becomes something everyone takes pride in. I was a Bronco. I played there. People are saying things like that, and so they started these alumni games now, and just to hear the guys coming back, it's really cool to hear them talk about that. And I think some of that happens in every community, not everyone for sure, but
Right.
um, I mean, you go to Flin Flon. I mean that there you're the star of the show. I mean, Flin Flon, Laurent, those places where Flin Flon it's huge. Hockey's huge there.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think the culture is just different than Humboldt. And that's okay. They're different places, but
Hmm.
it's a different pride too. It's not just we're successful, rah rah rah. There's just pride in being a Bronco, and I think that's a good thing that has been created by multiple coaches. I think Darcy really tried to instill that through his core covenant and different things, and it's continued just as a part of the culture here in Humboldt. So,
It's good. Um, I always ask people this question: where do you kind of see yourself in 5 years? Still in Humboldt?
oh goodness, I don't know. The last time I answered that question, I moved not even a year later, so I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay.
I I went to a board meeting with my 5 year plan in hand and resigned that night instead. And so it's, I, it's not because my 5 year plan couldn't be implemented either. It was, it's hard to dictate right now. My oldest son just graduated from high school. So it's me and Marsha, my wife, were talking, um, not even that long ago. And we just sort of looked at each other and like, we didn't really expect to be here, like to see our 3 year old boy when we came to see him graduate from. It wasn't even on our radar that he graduated from here. And now we have no ambitions of moving on. It's not like we have things on the back burner. I feel like we're just making inroads in Humboldt now after 15 years. So I actually prayed tonight that the Lord would just give me a renewed
Hmm.
passion and burden for the community and for our church, and that the Lord would continue opening doors. And so I I still have a heart for Humboldt. I have no intentions of moving. I love the opportunities we have with both the hockey team and our church as it's growing. And it's just, if the Lord has us here for the rest of my life, I'm fine with that. So, but it's up to Him. That could change next year. So, yeah.
Well, his ways are higher, right? And
Oh, yeah.
uh, but I appreciate that. I appreciate because we not only need people in the big cities,
Yeah.
we need them in the small communities. And
Yeah.
anytime I drive to Saskatchewan, and they've always bugged me at work, like I have them all memorized, and I always think of small communities, the Moosomin's and the
Yeah.
Broadviews and Grenfell and Round Lake. Um,
Oh, yeah.
went for lunch there on the way back from Labor Day. Uh,
Okay.
and just former teachers, etc. And it's just
Yeah.
who are in these communities, who are having these influences. We need people everywhere, right?
Mm.
The Lord just didn't say go to the city. He said
Yeah.
go into the nations, and the nations involved the communities, um, and everybody says to me, Steve, you could sell Saskatchewan to anybody. I said, but those are formative years. Those are formative years. And when that
Yeah.
happens, it's like again, for me personally, it brings it all back. But I love it. It's great
Mm. Yeah.
because it does take time to make inroads, as you say.
Mm.
And um and
But I
and
think that's one of the beauties of small towns is so many people have invested their whole life there.
right.
And so there's a depth of relationship that exists often in small towns where, I mean, cities have that too, but there's often a big influx of people coming and going and a little more transient. So yeah, it's just a different atmosphere. And that's probably why it takes so long to get to know people in a smaller community too. Cause, well, I don't have the right last name or have family heritage or those types of things. And so it just takes time to get in. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a Smith that lives in Steinbach. I mean, I'm
yeah.
just saying, like it's and I'm not being harsh about it, but it's just that's how it is. It's one of these things, and they just know me as the guy who sells furniture. Uh,
Oh,
and
there's worse things. So
there's worse things, but a lot of people know me. A lot of people know me from this podcast and whatever
yeah.
else, as well now too. When CJOB interviews me, well, thanks for that, Greg. Um, that sort of thing. But yeah, yeah, it's as you say, it's different in a small community. But about a year ago, I took my parents to a Bomber game. My mom goes, "You sure know a lot of people here, but it's just, but that's where you find that community. But then after the game's over, you just go in your car, you go home. But like for
Yeah.
those 9 times a year, like how much conversation am I getting the tailgate between my kids wanting a face paint or whatever else?" So it does take time. As long as we get our cookies from the cookie leader, we're good.
There you go. Yeah.
But I guess to bring it full circle, that's what you're trying to develop uh, with the chaplaincy is, yeah, maybe not to put words in your mouth, but community and relationship.
it's really your only hope to bring any. Um, it's really why you're there as a chaplain. You're there for relationship, right? Like to care for the person, and so it's without that you're kind of not doing your job. So it's it's more than just it, but it's more than team building. Like, oh, you just need to get the guys together and have fun.
Right.
It's so much deeper than that because real community, real fellowship is centered around common goal, common purpose, common struggle,
Mhm.
and it's life presents that. Like, all people are people. Hockey players are just people, and something I had to learn being a chaplain. I was always so intimidated because I've never been a part of the hockey world. They're sort of touted athletes, and I just felt like I don't fit. But at the same time, I'm just like, wait a minute, they're people. They have the same longings. They want to be loved and accepted, and they they have the same struggles that I've had, and so I'm not. I don't need to. You don't need to complicate things. People need each other, and so um, yeah, just pray that the Lord gives opportunity to within that community and within that common struggle of just humanity that we can present first of all the hope of the gospel, and that we can present support and someone to walk with people during difficult times, and then to encourage people forward, even in their pursuits like hockey. So it all it all sort of goes together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most definitely. And yeah, that's what I've realized interviewing guys that have won Super Bowls on this.
Mm.
They're just people, right? When
Yeah.
Tony Banks on, he goes, "Yeah, I got saved and I've never had more peace in my life." It's the guy who won a
Mm.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you're telling me um it's fascinating. The punter from the New York Giants who won Super Bowl 46. He goes, "The night I won the Super Bowl, I wanted to kill myself."
Mm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Full stop. Right? We think
Mm.
we reached the top. Um, well, in that form, that okay, we have it all made, right? Go
Yeah.
go ask Michael Irvin. Go ask, the Leon Lett. I'm going back a bit here. I'm going back
Mm.
to the DC talk time, but like something doesn't add up. Like it just right, and so that meaning and purpose, right? Ephesians 2 verses 8 and 10. God's workmanship created in Christ Jesus do good works, right?
Mm.
And so from that point of view, hockey does not define the player. The player are just people, as you say.
Yeah.
There, I'll get off my pedestal.
Well, go back to DC talk. We're all people in need of a savior. Just want to be in the
Yes,
light, right?
yeah,
There you
it's
go.
it's right. Yeah, my favorite one was "Time Was Ticking Away."
There you go. Oh man, we're
Yeah,
going back.
that is a bit, and then yeah, my kids think I'm old. Um, I
Well, they're
wonder.
right.
I
So
wonder why.
yeah.
I wonder why. Good, good. And not to sound too corny, but time has kind of ticked away here. We're almost an hour. I kind of like to keep it at that. But
All good. All
if you
good.
had anything more to say or something I haven't covered, we can do that now.
I appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing. How long you
Thank
been podcasting for?
Well, we're about almost five. It'll be 5 years in January. So
Good for you. Good for you.
it's yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of happens. But
Yeah.
I appreciate the kind words, and yeah, we'll see where it takes us, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, this has been awesome, Sean, and God bless you, and thanks for sharing your heart, and yeah, just keep it up, keep up the good fight, and hey, if you ever want to talk again, we don't even have to record it.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
No,
that sounds great.
no worries. Okay, take care.
Thanks, Mitty.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.